Hello and welcome back to Simon's Rants. I'm Simon, and today I'm giving my on second thought on Bo Burnham's Inside. Now, I promise this is my last video that's going to be about this specifically. I may have a top 10 list or a Bo Burnham video in the future where I talk about this special, but I didn't want to beat a dead horse with this. But I knew that I still had a lot more that I wanted to say about it. So I know I said I probably wasn't going to talk about it more, and then I did. But I promise this is the last time, so if I make another video, feel free to unsubscribe. I'm not going to keep milking this cow. So it's very rare that I do an on second thought on a movie or a show or whatever that I already did a first thoughts for, the last time being Tenet. And it's because last time when I talked about this and when I talked about Tenet for the first time, after watching it and waiting a while, I knew that there was so much more to say, so many things that I missed and wanted to talk about. And I, trust me, I read all of the comments I got, a million people telling me how stupid I am and how I missed all the points. And I do think that I didn't get everything that was in the show, and that's why I want to talk about it more. But also, I want to focus on specific elements of the show that really stood out to me more. Because what makes a special so good is that there's a million different ways to interpret it that are all correct. Now, that doesn't mean every interpretation I've seen was intelligent or correct. I had a lot of people commenting on my video, like, obviously it means this, and then it was really stupid. I'll be honest, it was really stupid what they thought it meant. But there's so many more ways to take what Bo Burnham is saying in Inside than the way that I focused on. What I focused on predominantly in my breakdown and my review of it and stuff was how he struggled as a performer, as he's talked about in every one of his specials before. He struggled as a performer, wanting attention but not feeling like he deserved it, but still needing it and craving it, and how that was really impacted during this past year with the pandemic, and then also other things that had to go along with that, like just derealization, disassociation, things like that. And I talked about those things because as a content creator, I reacted to that strongly and I related to that the most. But there's plenty of other things in it. Like, it is also just very relatable to anybody who went through COVID, so everybody alive right now. But I don't think that that's as far as it goes. And there's other things, like he talks about the world ending with global warming and climate change and stuff like that. And I didn't focus on that as much because even though it is part of his overall message, because of how he phrased it and worded it, it didn't even seem to be his top priority. Like when you go to All Eyes on Me and he says the world is ending and he says it already did, the ocean's at your door, and he's like, do I look like I care? His point is he's like aware that the world is ending, but he's more concerned about his own personal world. And then of course there's also all of the social media aspects of the special, because he's been very vocal about how much he hates social media for years. It wasn't just in this special, but he definitely talks about that a lot in this special. He hates social media, and so he brings up the irony of having to turn to it and use it when he needs intimacy most, because in this darkest hour, when he was really struggling with his mental health, the only way he could get in contact with people like his parents, his mother that he wanted to talk to, the only way he could do it was through FaceTime. And that's why the screen is narrowed, because you see multiple times throughout the special editing tricks to represent things. And so when he's FaceTiming with his mom, the screen is narrowed to just what's on the phone. It's not a full widescreen, it's just what the phone width would look like when you're holding up your phone like this versus like this. Another thing that he did with that style of editing that really elevated a piece that he was doing was the white woman's Instagram. Throughout the majority of the white woman's Instagram song, he's got a little square cutout like on Instagram, and he's making fun of how people act, especially white women, act on Instagram with their pictures, their fakeness, their faux artsy way of acting like life is perfect. And then when the character of the white woman starts to talk about things that matter more and things that are personal and things that are hard to deal with, like the fact that she's trying to learn how to live and be a woman without the guidance of her mother or her father for that matter. And during that section, it widens out. The editing pans out to be a 16:9 ratio, the standard ratio, because it's peeling back the curtain and saying, when you're on social media, when you're on Instagram, you see a cropped version of life. So then you can peel back the curtain on either side and you get to see what the full extent of the full version of who this person is when it's in real life. And so there's little things like that that really just make it so much better than I first realized. Things like that that make those jokes matter a lot more. Because like I said, it's not as funny as special. It might even be his least funny special, but in its own way, it might be the best special because it's easily the most profound. It's the most meaningful, I think, and it's affected so many people in so many ways. And it's not even just the delivery, although the delivery, the artistic nature of it, the editing, the way that he's able to compose every shot, it's absolutely brilliant. But even just ignoring all that, just the core message of it, like I said, it's so relatable to everybody because there's so many different ways you can take every single message in it. A lot of people will watch it and just go, yep, COVID sucked, the pandemic sucked, I was locked inside for a year and I hated every second of it. But there's so much more to the special than that. There really is. And there's so much more to just the performance side of it, because there's other things about it that I really didn't realize the first time or the first few times watching it again. There's that one section where there's an interlude where he's cleaning the screen, and that bugged me for several viewings because I was like, what does it mean? I know it has to mean something because he doesn't just put something there without a reason. And then it eventually clicked. I had praised Bo Burnham for being raw and real throughout this whole special, and he was constantly telling the audience straight to their face and reminding you constantly, this isn't real. This is performance art. And so he's reminding you during the interlude, one, it's an interlude because it's a show. And two, there's a screen here. Because just like social media, his performance art is a performance. It's not real. So he is to an extent showing the realness of him, but he's obviously cropping it and editing it and making sure it's perfect by watching it on repeat over and over and over again and making sure it's right. And with the constant reshoots and retakes and like the part where he has the emotional freak out and storms off the set, he practiced that. He rehearsed that. That was probably to the T. That's how he wrote it out, which is the crazy thing because it is so relatable as somebody that's tried to make content that you try and you try and you try to make something and you're such a perfectionist that you can't get it right. That's what I was focused on when watching it, but I had to remind myself that all of it he filmed a million times, even the mistakes. And that makes him even more of a great performer because he was showing a raw, real type feel and emotion to it when also reminding you constantly that nothing is real. Everything is fake. You've got the shot where you can see a whiteboard with every single note and annotation for doing a seemingly genuine scene. And that's there to remind us once again that nothing's real. That just ties in with the whole message of the whole thing and how he's disassociating. And it's not specifically because of social media. It's not specifically because of COVID. It's not specifically because of any one thing. But all of these things have come together to make that issue that was already there back from when he was performing live 5 years ago and had to retire. All of these things have come together to make it worse, because when everything becomes social media, everything becomes a performance, and you're already struggling with mental health, it makes everything a million times worse. So I gave it, in my first thoughts, I think I gave it like a 7.5 or something, and I'm really tempted to give it a 9. I still don't want to say it's perfect because I struggle to say anything's perfect, but God, it was good. And like I said, it may be the best thing he's ever made. And I love everything he's made. I'm a big fan of all of his work. I mentioned how his reaction to himself was about overthinking, and I think it was. Now, I may be reaching here, but another interpretation I enjoy of that is that maybe it has to do with the audience adding meaning to something that didn't have meaning originally. Because I think Bo Burnham's also said that before, is like, yes, he always wants a meaning. He always puts meaning to everything he says, but he's also fully aware of that his fans think higher of him than he thinks of himself. And we love to rant and we love to talk on and on and on. I know he said not to, but we do. We talk on and on and on about everything that we took out of it. And frankly, we probably are projecting a lot of what we think about onto the show. Like I said, I've read a bunch of interpretations of the show, and half of it is idiotic bullshit. And he's probably read some of that too. He probably watched videos of people breaking it down, including mine, and probably went, "What the hell are you talking about? I didn't even mean any of that." As clever and as brilliant as he is, a lot of the meaning that we take out of it, we've already brought with us. We've brought that ourselves, and he didn't intend to put that there. Not saying that he didn't intend to have any meaning, but I think he left the show vague enough, he left it open-ended enough, that even though there is a lot of great insight and meaning behind all of it, you are able to interpret it multiple ways, and that makes it have a bigger impact on a wider variety of people. While still being a comedy show, kind of. Like, this is still comedy. It's not nearly as funny, like I said. I don't know that there's any one moment where you laugh out loud. There's a lot of just smirking, and there's a lot of like, yeah, that's relatable. There's not like laugh out loud moments, at least not for me. But it is still ridiculously funny in its own cynical way. I've been relating it a lot in my mind to George Carlin and other comedians. And a lot of George Carlin stuff later in life was just very cynical critiques of everything he saw in the world, and that's what Bo Burnham has shifted toward in his later comedy as well. Granted, I mean, he's very young, he's still like 31, it's not like he's George Carlin in his 80s or whatever, but he still shifted toward that because I think he is in his own way a genius. I think he is. Don't want to say, I've seen people try and say that he's the greatest mind of our generation. It's like, all right, calm down a little bit. But I think in his own way, he is a genius. And he has a lot on his mind, obviously. And there's a lot of things he wants to say. And he wants to be the funny guy. He likes to be the funny guy. But he feels guilty about it, so he doesn't want to be funny all the time. He wants to help, but he doesn't know how, and that's another message of this show. So there's so many different ways to take it, but whatever way you take it, I think you have to take it as brilliant, because it is. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to leave it there because, like I said, I commented a while back, and I think I tweeted about this as well. I could go on for hours and hours. I could make a million videos talking about every little minor detail about this, but I think I'll just leave it at this. It's great. I enjoyed it, and the more times you watch it, the better it gets. I don't want to keep taking up your time talking about it. I don't need to make any more videos about it after this because, yeah, it was frustrating the amount of comments I got. And I should have seen it coming, but people going like, it's ironic that you would make this, because in it he says, can any single person shut up at any point in time? And I know I have a bit of an egotistical response to that because I go, I've got a channel, people are literally asking for my opinion. But yes, I don't have to share my opinion a million times on any one thing. But to that, I also do say, somebody did ask me my opinion, so that's why I'm talking about it. Who asked for your opinion? You're the one commenting on my video. If you don't want to hear me talk about it, leave. And like I said, this is the last time I'm talking about this show. So once again, if that's all you're subscribed for, you can go ahead and unsubscribe. Really, I don't mind. I won't be mad. I won't be disappointed because I do a lot of other things on this channel that I'm proud of. But I know for a fact a lot of you are just subscribed for my past Bo Burnham videos and aren't watching anything else. And that doesn't help me. Like, I don't need that. So if you like those videos, cool. I hope you check out my other videos. But if you're not interested, that's fine. You can leave. No hard feelings. So yeah, like I said, that's the last time I'm talking about it. I love it. I really do. And I think it will just keep getting better the more time passes. That's why I wanted to wait a full month. I could have talked about this 2 days after I posted the last video, or maybe even just 1 day after, because every day I thought about it, it got better in my mind. But I wanted to make sure I gave it a few more weeks, a full month, and just let it simmer and sit and think about it. And this is where I'm at with it. I really do enjoy it. I think it is great. It's a masterpiece in its own right. And I think it's official that Bo Burnham is in a class all of his own at this point. I don't know what to even call him. Is he a comedian? Is he an actor? Is he an artist? Sure, he's all of those things. So this special is for lack of a better word, very special. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about it. Also, feel free to leave your theories about the meaning behind it. Like I said, I didn't cover everything because I didn't find it necessary, but there is so much in there. So please just be civil in the comments. Don't call me a moron if I didn't point out something, because like I said, I don't need to point out every single thing. There's a million things in this special to talk about. I'm sorry I don't want to talk about Jeff Bezos. I'm sorry I don't want to talk about global warming. I just don't care to talk about those subjects. That's just not something I want to talk about. So if you want to talk about it, sure, go ahead. Just like I said, keep it civil in the comments. We're all humans here. I was going to say we're all intelligent. I don't know if I can say that though. But regardless, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked it. Also, please remember to like, share, and if you're new here, subscribe if you genuinely want to watch the rest of my videos. If not, that's fine. You can leave. You can leave. It's fine. All right. Bye. I'm tired. I'm sorry. I'm on pain medications right now, so I'm a little bit loopy. This may also affect the future scheduling of videos. I may be a little bit slower, just a heads up. It's kind of hard to edit like this, but alright guys, that's enough. I don't need your pity. Bye. Oh, that video sucked.